Hello students, today I am going to start my session with the new chapter, chapter number 3. The name of the chapter is National Income and Related Aggregates. The topic is concept of national income. National income, in Hindi we can call it as a Rashtriya Aay. This one is really very broad concept as well as very interesting concept of macroeconomics. The define is given in your book. National income is the sum total of factor incomes earned by normal residents of a country during the period of an accounting year. Here, this definition of national income conveys two important points. The first one is national income includes factor incomes only, and the second one is national income includes income of only normal residents of a country. Let's go deeper into the concepts of factor incomes and normal residents. The first one is factor incomes. Factor incomes are the payments made by the producing units or firms to the households owners of the factors of productions. Children, we had already discussed the factors of production. Factors of productions are land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. Okay, it will be used by the producers in the process of production, and household treated as the owner of factors of production. Okay, so owners of the factors of production for the use of their factor services. Factor incomes or factor payments are broadly classified as under, there will be four headings. The first one is compensation of employees. Compensation of employees means a kind of a income earned by household for rendering their services to the producer. Okay, it can be also come under the category of wages and salaries. Okay, so compensation of employees received by the households for rendering their services as employees of the producing units. The second one is rent. Rent received by the households for the use of their land by the producing units. Interest received by the households for the use of their capital by the producing units. The last one, the fourth one is profit. Profit received by the households or for the use of their entrepreneurial skills by the producing units. In the estimation of national income, we include only these factor incomes or factor payments. Children, here one more topic is given in your book. Factor incomes are different from transfer income. I think factor incomes are clear for you. Okay, but one more topic, it will be new for you, transfer income. What do you mean by transfer income? Transfer incomes are those incomes which are received by a person as a help, donation or charity. In short, we can say it's an unearned income. Okay, so there's a difference between the factor income and transfer income. It may be noted that factor incomes are different from transfer incomes. Transfer incomes are those incomes which are received by a person as a help, donation or a charity, etc. Whereas factor incomes are those incomes which are received by the factors of production by rendering their factor services. In other words, while factor income is earned income and transfer income is unearned income. Since transfer incomes are not earned as a reward for rendering their factor services, these are not included in the estimation of national income. It means if there will be one numerical question, you found that factor income also and transfer income also. So which will be included in the calculation of national income? It's very clear that only factor incomes will be included. It means compensation of employees, rent, interest and profit will be included. But transfer of income like donations, grants, charities, it will not included into the calculation of national income. Okay. The next topic is normal resident. Normal resident means what? A normal resident is said to be one. Two conditions are there. The first one is who ordinarily resides in the country concerned and whose center of economic interest lies in that country. It means whose ordinarily reside. It means the person live in our country more than 1 year. Okay, and he is having all kind of rights. Okay, voting rights and all. This all information. Here you should understand the observation carefully. A person residing in a country for a period of 1 year or more than 1 year is taken as ordinarily residing in that country. This person may or may not be the citizen of that country. Citizenship is a different concept and residentialship is a different concept. Here I am talking about only ordinarily resides in our country. The person will be treated as a normal resident. It means a kind of a person who lives in our country more than 1 year. Whatever income earned by the person, it will come under the category of national income. Okay, the second one is a person is said to have his economic interest in a country when he carry out all his economic activities such as production, consumption or investment. This all kind of activity the person will perform. This all should be also done in our country. Okay, so when the person fulfill this both the condition, then person will be treated as a normal residents of our country, and whatever income earned by the normal residents of our country, it will be included under the calculation of national income. Once again, I would like to revise the definition. National income is the sum total of, sum total it means the total income. We have to add all income, and this income should be only factor income, not a transfer income, but the income should be earned by normal residents. Okay, normal residents is also clear that, okay, of a country during the period of an accounting year. Okay, it means you know that the financial year, it will be started from 1st April and ended with the 31st of March. Okay, and on the basis of this entire calculation, we can calculate our national income, our GDP and all, and this national income will be helpful for us to define that our country's economical condition is increase or maybe decrease, or maybe it will be stable or not. Okay, so we can measure any country's economical condition on the basis of the national income. Thank you. Hello students, today I am going to start my session with the chapter number 3 of macroeconomics. The name of the chapter is National Income and Related Aggregates. The topic is domestic and national concept of income. Okay, at the macro level, the concept of income is used both as a domestic concept and as a national concept. When used as a domestic concept, we call it domestic income, and when used as a national concept, we call it national income. Both domestic income and national income includes 4 basic elements of factor income, which is compensation of employees, rent, interest and profit. But there is a differences. It is as this. Domestic income is the sum total of factor incomes. Factor incomes, I had already explained. Factor income is that kind of income which is generated by the factors of production. Factors of productions are land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship. So that's why the factor income is compensation of employees, rent, interest and profit. Okay, so factor income generated within the domestic territory of a country, no matter who generates it, normal residents or non-resident. Students, here you should understand, domestic income give their focus towards the factor income, definitely, but generated, this factor income should be generated within the domestic territory of a country. Here maybe the question will be arise in your mind, what do you mean by domestic territory? Students, domestic territory means political territory of a nation or a political front line of our nation. Okay, so a kind of a factor income generated within the domestic territory of a country, it will include under the domestic income. No matter who generates it, it means the person is a normal resident or a non-resident, no matter of it. Okay, but here This concept is place oriented. It means here we have to find out the income is generated within the domestic territory or not. If it is generated within the domestic territory, then it will be included under the domestic income. And the next concept is national income. National income is the sum total of factor income. Factor incomes again, compensation of employees, rent, interest and profit, earned by normal residents of a country, no matter where is generated, within the domestic territory or outside. Students, here you should understand the important word is normal residents. Normal residents also I had already explained. A normal resident is a person who normally resides in our country for more than 1 year and his economic interest is also lies in that country. It means the person is perform all kind of economic activity in the concerned country, like a consumption, production, investment. Okay. So here again we are talking about the factor income. But this factor income should be earned by only normal residents. Then only it will be included under the national income, otherwise not. Here the important line is no matter where the income is generated. It means the income is generated within the domestic territory or outside the territory. It means income हमारी country में generate हो रही है या abroad generate हो रही है. There are so many Indians working in abroad. The Indian companies send them for the work purpose or maybe for the job purpose for a specific time period. So they go there and they earn money and come back. So whatever income earned by the Indians or normal residents, then this kind of income will be the part of our factor income. Okay, and it will be included under the national income. Okay, this is a concept of normal resident. Okay, next one is domestic territory and economic territory. This one is really very important concept. Domestic territory and economic territory for a common people, they understand that both are the same concept, but for the student of economics you should understand both are different from each other. Okay, so first of all I would like to explain the domestic territory. In common language, the domestic territory of a country is understood to mean political territory of a nation, but in economics it refers to economic territory, which is much wider concept than political territory. According to United Nations, economic territory is the geographical territory administered by government within which persons, goods and capital circulated freely. Do we have this freedom of circulation, maybe of a person, of a good and a capital in the embassies of foreign countries located in India? Students, you know that there are so many countries embassies situated in India at Delhi, just like Chinese embassy, Japanese embassy situated in India. Okay, so Indians are not allowed to go there. Why? Because these are the reserved areas. Just like Chinese embassy is reserved only for Chinese people. If we would like to go there, then we have to get the permission. Okay, but there are Indian embassies situated in so many countries, like Indian embassy situated in America, Indian embassy situated in Japan. All Indians lived in America or lived in Japan, they all are free to go and meet in the Indian embassy. So here you should understand, do we have this freedom of circulation in the embassies of foreign countries located in India? No should be the answer. It means we are not allowed, because these are the areas reserved by their own countries. Okay. Do we have this freedom of circulation in Indian embassies located abroad? Yes should be the answer, implying that foreign embassies located in India are not a part of domestic territory or economic territory of India. On the other hand, Indian embassies located abroad are a part of domestic territory or economic territory of India. Thus, while defining the term domestic territory, the focus is not to be on a political boundaries of a nation. The focus is to be on such a geographical areas where our persons, our goods and our capital enjoy the freedom of circulation. Is that clear? The next topic is conversion of domestic income into national income. How domestic income is converted into national income. Students, I think I had already explained domestic income is that kind of factor income, or sum total of factor income generated within the domestic territory of a country. But national income is a factor income earned by normal residents. Here you should understand the difference. Domestic income is a combination of normal residents as well as non-residents, while the national income is a combination of only on income earned by the normal residents. So if we would like to convert domestic income into national income, then we have to exclude or subtract the income earned by the non-residents, and we have to include the income of normal residents. They are working at outside of our country or maybe working at abroad. Got it? So you can understand the concept with the help of this equation. Domestic income plus net factor income from abroad equals to national income. Domestic income, once again I would like to explain the define of it. Domestic income is the sum total of factor incomes generated within the domestic territory of a country during the period of an accounting year. It includes factor income of both the residents as well as non-residents of the domestic territory of a country. It needs emphasize that it means two important points that you will found under the domestic income is, first one is our domestic income does include factor income earned by non-residents within the domestic territory of our country. Second point is our domestic income does not include factor income earned by our residents from the domestic territory of other countries. Okay. Then if we want convert domestic income into national income, then accordingly domestic income becomes national income only when we will perform two adjustments. The first one is we exclude from the domestic income that part of factor income which belongs to non-residents within our domestic territory. And the second point, we add to domestic income that part of factor income which our residents earn from rest of the world. In simple words, I can say we need to add the income of our normal residents from rest of the world, and we need to subtract the income of non-residents. They are working in our country. Okay, so that's why the one concept is given here. The concept is net factor income from abroad. Definitely this concept will be new for you, and so many students are having a doubt about it. What do you mean by net factor income from abroad? We can understand this concept with the help of the equation net factor income from abroad. Net factor income from abroad, it means in short we can say factor income from rest of the world. What do you mean by rest of the world? Rest of the world is also known as abroad. Okay. So factor income from rest of the world minus factor income to rest of the world. It means the normal residents working in abroad, their income will be also part of our national income. So we need to add it. That's why factor income from abroad, we need to add it, and we need to subtract the factor income to abroad. It means there are so many non-residents just like Chinese, Japanese, Australian peoples. They are working in our country and they get their salary. So their salary is not a part of our national income. Okay, it's a part of their own factor income, and that's why it will be included in their own country's national income. Okay, so that's why we need to pay them. That's why we can get net factor income from abroad equals to factor income from rest of the world minus factor income to rest of the world. So we can get net factor income from abroad. When we will add domestic income plus net factor income from abroad, then we can get national income. Okay, thank you.